Hello and welcome back to the channel. So Kendall and I, my wife and I, are planning a vacation. Well, we're past the planning stage. We're actually going within days to Albania, which, if you're not familiar with Albania, I'm sure most Americans aren't familiar with where Albania is. It's right above Greece and not far from Italy. So we're actually going there for about 8 days, and we have done a lot of research on the country, and we're very excited about visiting Albania for the first time. Interesting fact about Albania is that it's not part of the Schengen, if you know what the Schengen is, and it's not part of the European Union at all. It's actually a country that since from the 1940s to the early 1990s was a communist country. They couldn't practice religion, you couldn't get in the country, you couldn't get out of the country. So it's only been since, I think it was 91 or 92, that they were no longer communist, and they're trying to build this country up, and they're trying to make it more modern and things like that. But while we were looking at the history and everything that goes along with Albania, since we're wanting to go visit there, we decided to look and see how it compared to the country we live in, Thailand. And we were shocked to find out that there's a lot of similarities between Albania and Thailand. As a matter of fact, a lot of people, well, I won't say a lot of people, there are people who are retiring from either Europe or the United States and of course various other countries to Albania. Now there's a country you probably never thought about looking at as a place to either move to, be a digital nomad, or to retire to. So what I thought I would do in this video, since we're going over there and you're going to see 5 or 6 videos in a row, all from Albania, so I needed to give you some sort of introduction to why that's going to happen. We're going to look at some of the similarities between Thailand and Albania. So if you're someone who's looking to retire in the future, you've got Thailand in mind, I will say that's a great choice. You're going to love it. However, it's never a bad idea to compare it to something else, which is what we're going to do here. So we're going to take a look at a broad overview of a comparison between both countries. So Thailand has got hot weather year-round. Again, different varying degrees of hot depending on what time of year you are here. You got the smoky season, which happens in March and April. You've got the rainy season, which is your July, August, September, October, and so on. So that's pretty much the seasons here. There's really not like winters, big time winters. You don't really see a fall. It's just hot. It just is. So let's take a look at the weather in Albania. Albania, when we researched it, is a lot like where we came from in the United States, which was South Carolina. You have a fairly cool winter. It can snow in some parts, and you do have all 4 seasons. So that's a nice change. If you're somebody who gets sick of the heat, maybe you would want to go to a place like Albania. Now, that's not much of a reason to want to look at Albania. Let me give you another reason. Probably one of the biggest deciding factors for you and why you're looking at Thailand in the first place, and that is cost of living. So when we look this up, the similarities between living in Thailand and living in Albania are almost dead even. As a matter of fact, Albania wins a little bit, depending, I guess, on how you're going to live there, meaning and what kind of accommodation. But for the most part, housing is going to be way less expensive in Albania, which was a shocker to me. This is a country, like I said, right next to Greece. It's right there by Italy, and it's got this kind of low cost of living. Interesting. So when you're comparing the two, let's just say the cost of living, for simplicity's sake, is dead even. So if you were living in Thailand and you needed a break for Thailand, either for a visa reason or you want to get out of the smoky season and you want to get in a totally different environment, you may want to try Albania. If you're in Albania and you want something different but you want to stay with the same cost of living, I'll be the first to tell you, you'll want to go to Thailand. Now the next biggest thing is going to be visas. Now in Thailand, you've heard me say this time and time again, visas can either be fairly easy or very difficult depending on your circumstances. Are you 50 and older? You could probably get a retirement visa depending on if you have the financial means to do it, or are you going to be a border runner, meaning you're going to come here for 90 days, do a border run, come back in for 90 days and repeat cycle? Do you want to come here and learn something and get an ED visa, and so on? So a lot of those things are temporary visas, and you got to check in every 90 days. Albania, now sorry, Europe, I'm only talking to Americans at this point in time. Americans, you can go to Albania with no visa, and on arrival, you can stay up to a year. Now that's pretty good. That's really good. That's a lot easier than anything here in Thailand, just in case you want to do that comparison. And that also is a good reason for you to go back and forth between countries, or even consider Albania as a good second choice to Thailand. So as far as the rest of the world goes, I don't think any of the visa qualifications are too difficult. You may just want to look that up, but I know for Americans, it's really easy. Now, what about the infrastructure? Well, the infrastructure in Thailand is really good. It's going to be leaps and bounds better than Albania from what we hear. Now, Albania is quickly trying to catch up, but they're not there yet. And that's just going to be a big difference you're going to see is the whole infrastructure. From what I've already researched online in Albania, things are a little bit confusing on their bus system, and their public transportation is still got a few growing pains to go through. While in Thailand, everything's been here for a long time, rock solid. So that is going to be an adjustment you would need to make from one country to another, which let's go right into driving. I've always said driving here in Thailand is very dangerous, kind of the Wild West on the roads. People get away with just about anything. From what I hear in Albania, pretty much the same thing. One of the videos I'm going to do is driving there, so make sure you see that video where I'm going to put a GoPro on and just go, and we're going to see how it all works out. So we'll be able to compare a little bit better once we get there. So I did research safety and healthcare, both countries extremely safe. So if you're worried about safety, both of them are going to hit a dead even for safety. As far as healthcare goes, of course, Thailand's going to edge out. Thailand has some really good doctors. A lot of them were in Western countries or even the US to learn how to be a doctor, and now they're here back in their home country of Thailand. In Albania, I'm only going off of hearsay of what I've heard from expats already over there, that the healthcare system is good there. Now, did they say it was great there? No, it is cheap, it is affordable, so all those things are good. And they're not raving and going on and on about it, but they're saying it's fairly decent. So we're going to say the winner here is going to go to Thailand. So if you're somebody who does have a severe medical issue, probably the best out of these two would be Thailand, just so you can get better medical care. Now let's look at the travel opportunities. So if you've lived here in Thailand for a while, sometimes you'll want to go visit some of the neighboring countries, Cambodia, Laos. Maybe you want to go to Vietnam, down to Malaysia, Indonesia. All those countries are fairly close. But what if you, for a little bit out of the year, lived in a place called Albania? Well, then you could easily visit Albania because you live there, go boop right into Italy and all the rest of Europe, which is right there. You could just cross the border down south and get into Greece. Turkey's right there, and so on and so forth. So it does give you an opportunity to visit a lot of the other countries while enjoying your time in Albania, especially Americans with no visa required. You've got that 1 year just on arrival. So like I said, we will be there for about 8 days, and we're covering everything from getting off the airplane at the Tirana, which is the capital, airport, renting a car, driving. We're gonna hopefully meet with an attorney to ask them questions for you guys about people who are wanting to relocate or even think of that as an option to relocate to. We're gonna look at the stores, we're gonna look at the transportation, and so on and so forth. We're going to go to 4 different major cities. That's going to be, we land in Tirana, which is the capital, then we're going to a place called Durrës, then we're going to a place called Shkodër, then we're going to a place called Vlorë, then we're going to actually spend time in Tirana. So it's going to be a whirlwind, so make sure you do check that out. After that, we are definitely coming back here to Thailand, and I will try to bring you as many videos from Albania as I can. So I just wanted to do this video, one as a comparison, and two to let you know why there's going to be a lot of Albania videos coming within the next week. But then I'll be back and we'll have more Thailand videos as normal. So guys, thank you for watching. If you feel so inclined, buy us a coffee. We'd really appreciate it. Link down in the description. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. We'd love to have you subscribe. So until next time, I'm going to end this video by saying thank you in Thai, which is Khap Khun Khap.